Hi guys. So I'm not driving right now, but I got to work a little early and I have about 10 minutes and I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, but there is something that I've been thinking about and I wanted to just share. So it's kind of been a rough week, and kind of just like an upsetting week. So, and let me just send a disclaimer. I realize that my problems are not a lot compared to what a lot of people have. I know that. But I've been really, Monday started out with finding out that the the company who had told me that I was able to get a home loan, which this was back in August, and one of the reasons we decided to move back home, not that we wouldn't have, but were wrong. So basically, because of my debt ratio with my student loans, I totally can't get a home loan without a cosigner, and I don't really have anyone who can cosign for me, and I don't. It's just a lot to ask. So, that was frustrating, mostly because you get an education and you feel like you're doing this so you can provide for your family and take care of them, and then that ends up not being the case. Like, I want to be able to have a home. I want to be able to do a sensory room for Evangeline and really like work on that and stuff, and I can't do that. And so that bums me out a lot. And it just really was frustrating. So now I have to, like go back to the drawing board. We have to figure out what works for us, if there's a place we can rent, if we can rent to own. Just it's a lot of work, and it's frustrating and it's disappointing. And then last week we got a formal diagnosis for Evangeline for her autism, which we knew. But I don't know if anyone's ever seen a really in-depth report about their child on paper that's very medical and very technical. It's really hard to read. And it really just, I find it really difficult and really frustrating because, what professionals see, I don't think always represents my child. And it just, it takes a toll on one. My kid on paper is probably not that impressive. She isn't. But in real life, she is. And I know she has a lot of capability and a lot of ability that you might not see from an IQ test. So that was hard to read. It was hard to deal with, and I'm still processing it, I think. And then on top of that, someone really close to me is going through a hard time. So this is all, it's just been a really hard week. And I feel like we oftentimes apologize for our emotions and our feelings. And all those stories do have a point. I recently listened to a woman, her name's Dr. Susan David, and she has a PhD, and her area of study is emotional agility. So she was saying that when you we live in a culture that doesn't always appreciate emotions because we want people to be strong and independent and tough. And when we have a wide range of emotions and we allow ourselves to feel them, it might admit that we don't have it all together and that we're honestly all just big jumble messes. I am anyways. So she's saying, by always saying like, oh, be positive, look at the silver lining, which are good things to do, but by always pushing people to do that, we're actually creating trauma and other issues, other emotional issues in our children, in each other, in ourselves, by not allowing ourselves to feel our emotions because we're afraid of them. An example is when I'm sad or upset, or happy, I cry. I'm just a crier. It's terrible, and it's not terrible. See, I'm already trained to think it's terrible. It's just the reality. And every time I cry in front of people, what's the first thing I do is I apologize profusely. I say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Why? Why do I limit myself like that? Because you know what? It's okay. And then even with everything going on this week, do I think it's the end all? Do I think that, things are never going to get better? No, but they're still kind of crappy situations, and they've really hurt me, and they've really brought me down this week. And I think that we have to allow ourselves to feel that and to realize that, things sometimes are not okay and things hurt, and we need to take a second and sit in those emotions and try and understand those emotions, and then try and find a way out from them. So I'm upset and disappointed. Am I going to remain upset and disappointed forever? Probably not. That's not really who I am. But I don't think I'm going to easily just push those feelings under the rug. And I don't think that that's something that we should do. I think that we all need to be able to have our emotions, to talk about them, to think about them without having to have like a cheerleading squad at every session, like, you've got this. Or even if we do, to have other people recognize, like, yeah, that's a really tough situation and I'm sorry. And if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Instead of forcing our unicorns and sunshine, which I like unicorns and I like sunshine, on everyone. And I think this is really hard for me because I want people to be happy, and I want people to have hope and to always be, like, moving forward. But some days you just need to stay where you are, and you just need to experience what you can. And I'm even trying to do this. Susan David is the lady's name again, and she also has a paper on how to nurture emotional agility in your children. So I've been kind of looking into that as well, and kind of incorporating this, and allowing my kids to feel what they need to feel, like, even though they're 2. And Cadence cries over everything. She's like, your mom. Ah. So I tell Cadence no, and she cries, and instead of saying, oh, get over it, I'm trying to be like, yeah, I'm sorry you're sad that I said no, but it doesn't change anything. So maybe in a nicer way than that. Sometimes not, because parenting, it's fun and hard. It's really hard. It's been hard this week. It's just been a hard week, guys. So so I didn't share those stories with you to make you I'm not trying to gain sympathy or anything like that, but I just kind of wanted to share because I've been thinking about the things I've been feeling, and the articles I've read from Dr. Susan David. I want you guys to look this up because I think it's amazing. And just about how, we can't shut off people's emotions as much as we want to, and as uncomfortable as they make us. We need to be able to deal with them and to experience them. And we have emotions for a reason. So one thing she did say, and I don't want to get it wrong, she said emotions are data, not directions. So that means your emotions are important. Take them into consideration. Figure out how it affects you, but don't necessarily make all your decisions based off your emotions. So I am not making any rash decisions this week. I'm allowing myself to sit and to take in this data and everything that my heart and mind are telling me, and we're gonna go from there. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope that's helpful, and I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Friday.